Imagine putting a massive chunk of your life savings into a heavy steel vault, right? You lock the door, you walk away, and then you find out decades later that the government kept a second key.
Yeah, that
Not
is,
only do they have a key, but they get to decide exactly when they open the vault and exactly how much of your money they're just going to take.
it's a terrifying realization for a lot of savers, honestly, when they finally hit retirement,
Right.
because they spent their entire lives just, focused on putting the money in without ever reading the terms and conditions of how it comes out.
Which is exactly why we're here. Welcome to this deep dive. Because if you're joining us today, you are probably trying to make sure you are the only one holding the keys to your financial future.
Exactly.
We are synthesizing a massive stack of updated 2026 financial data today. We've got the latest IRS tax code, reports from T. Rowe Price and Vanguard, plus wealth management guides from places like Oakley and Panic Proof Retirement. Basically, we're building you a master blueprint.
Because true financial success, it isn't really about guessing what the stock market is going to do tomorrow.
Right, nobody can do that.
Exactly. It's about optimizing the rules of the game. And the IRS rules for 2026 have shifted quite a bit. So if you don't understand the underlying mechanics, those hidden traps can easily cost you a quarter of your savings in just unnecessary taxes and penalties.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because before we can even argue about how to tax your money, we have to look at where you're putting it first, right?
The location matters.
One of our sources, Oakley Wealth, breaks this down using what they call the savings waterfall. And they use this great analogy of pouring into a pyramid of champagne glasses.
I love that analogy. The idea is that you have a finite amount of income to save, and you should never let a single drop fall into a lower tier glass until the most valuable glasses at the very top are completely overflowing.
Right, totally full.
But what surprises most people is that the very top glass in this waterfall has absolutely nothing to do with maximizing your retirement accounts.
Wait, really? What sits at the very top then?
Step one is simply contributing just enough to your workplace plan, so like a 401k or a 403b if you work for a nonprofit, just to capture your full employer match.
Ah, of course. Because a match is literally a 100% immediate return on your investment.
Precisely. I mean, it is the highest guaranteed return you will ever see in your entire lifetime.
Yeah.
If you skip the match to, say, fund a different account, you're effectively taking a voluntary pay cut. But once you secure that match, class number 2 is where things get interesting, because it's usually paying off high-interest debt, specifically credit cards.
Which, I mean, that feels like a defensive play, right? Not really investing.
It feels that way, yeah. But let's look at the actual mechanics. Oakley points out that average credit card interest rates right now are north of 21% annually.
Ouch.
Right. If a Wall Street broker offered you a guaranteed, risk-free, tax-free 21% return on an investment, you would think it was a scam. But when you pay off a 21% credit card balance, you are instantly stopping that compounding interest from draining your net worth. It's the mathematical equivalent to a 21% guaranteed return.
Wow. Yeah, that completely flips the perspective. So, okay, you secure the match, you kill the credit card debt, and then we hit the actual 2026 contribution limits for the retirement accounts.
Oh.
And the numbers have crept up again. So for a standard 401k, the base limit for 2026 is up to $24,500. And for an individual retirement account, an IRA, it's $7,500.
Which is a solid bump.
It is. And I love how the FinHabits guide breaks that IRA number down conceptually. They point out that $7,500 a year is exactly $625 a month.
That monthly breakdown is just so crucial because it takes willpower totally out of the equation.
Right, you just set it and forget it.
Exactly. If you automate that $625 every single month, you max out the IRA without ever suffering from decision fatigue. But there's a massive blind spot in this waterfall for a lot of savers.
Oh.
Yeah. There's another account that is arguably the most powerful wealth-building tool in the entire U.S. tax code.
Okay, I'm listening.
The Health Savings Account, or HSA.
Oh, man. I feel like a lot of people just treat their HSA like a glorified checking account to pay for, like, dental cleanings or regular copays.
They do, and it's a tragic underutilization of the account. What's fascinating here is the underlying mechanism. The HSA is literally the only account in existence that is triple tax-free.
Okay, break that down.
So first, the money goes in pre-tax.
Right.
lowering your taxable income today.
Okay.
Second, the money grows and compounds completely tax-free. And third, when you withdraw it for qualified medical expenses, it comes out tax-free.
Wow.
Yeah. And for 2026, you could put in $4,400 as an individual or $8,750 for a family.
But the real magic only happens if you don't spend it on today's copays.
Exactly.
Like if you can afford to pay out of pocket, you leave the HSA alone and let it compound in the stock market for, say, 20 years.
Right. You invested.
But what if you stay incredibly healthy? Like, what if you reach age 65 with $250,000 in an HSA and you just don't have the medical bills for it? Don't you get penalized for pulling it out?
That is the best part. And it's a hidden feature most people totally miss. Before age 65, yes, if you pull HSA money out for non-medical reasons, you get hit with a brutal 20% penalty.
Which nobody wants.
Right.
Hey.
But the moment you turn 65, that penalty completely vanishes.
Really, it just goes away.
Poof, gone. At that point, you can pull the money out for a vacation or a new car, and you just pay ordinary income tax on it, exactly like a traditional IRA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it becomes this shadow retirement account.
Yeah.
But it still retains its superpower of being 100% tax-free for medical costs, which includes your future Medicare premiums, by the way.
That is incredibly powerful. And, while we're talking about where to put our money, the sources brought up a really interesting point about asset protection.
Yes, this is huge.
Because it's not just about taxes, right? It's about shielding your wealth from worst-case scenarios, like bankruptcy or nasty lawsuits.
If we connect this to the bigger picture of wealth preservation, the vehicle you choose matters immensely. A 401k is governed by federal law, specifically ERISA.
Right.
Which means it is universally protected from bankruptcy and general creditors. It basically acts as an impenetrable fortress for your money.
Okay, but what about IRAs?
IRAs, however, rely on a patchwork of state laws, and their federal bankruptcy protection is strictly capped. So in 2026, that cap is roughly $1.36 million.
Wow. Wait, so if you roll a massive, like $2 million 401k into an IRA when you retire, you might accidentally strip away hundreds of thousands of dollars of federal asset protection.
Depending on your specific state, absolutely.
That's terrifying.
It's a classic example of why understanding the actual mechanics of these accounts is just so